Is the real estate industry overheating? Or is it bound to grow further this year? Today, we'll talk about how you can win in this market, whether it's dipping or soaring. I'm Edric Mendoza, and this is On the Money. Our guest today is Carl D., a real estate professional who works for one of the biggest companies in the country. Hi, Carl.
Hi, Edric.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yeah, so let's answer this very hot question, if you will, right now about this industry, the real estate industry. Is it overheating, or do you think it's going to continue to grow?
I guess real estate is pretty much tied into the economy.
Okay.
So if the Philippine economy is going up, real estate is pretty much following behind.
Sure.
So I think there's maybe 3-4 more years of strong growth for the property sector.
Okay. 3 or 4 more years?
Yes.
Okay, and then?
Well, real estate kasi is pretty much cyclical. So it goes through up and down. The prices goes up, it's pretty strong, then eventually it corrects, just like stocks. So we can't predict when it will slow down, but we just have to expect that it's a cyclical process. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any rules on buying real estate, given that there's a 3 to 4 year window left? Should they buy now? Should they wait until after 3 years when it starts to dip? What are your thoughts?
So it's pretty much ano naman parang you can buy, if you're comfortable now and you have that extra cash and you want to ride the economy, it's okay to buy now. So first of all, you have to check your finances.
Good point, yeah.
Parang real estate is something that you buy when you've covered your basic needs and you have some extra cash set aside for a rainy day.
So what advice do you give? Like right now, if people are to buy, what should they be looking for? What are the considerations?
Okay, if you're into buying property, there's many types of property. One is land. Land is something that you buy that eventually you can build your own house, you can put up your own building. Another is a condominium.
Okay.
So what's more popular right now is condominium because they're going left and right, no? So first you have to understand condominium is a product that is designed to cater to people who work in a high density business district. So this is to avoid you from having to travel.
Right.
Convenience. Convenience. So either you're looking at condo for your own use so that you're more convenient when you're going to the office, or you're buying a condo so that you can rent it out to those people who are working in that business district.
Sure. So that would be rental income type.
Yes.
No? What about the flipping? You know, like for example, buying land, waiting for appreciate in value, and then selling land. Is that an option that people should look at, or is it too expensive, for example?
Okay. My personal take on flipping, I always advise people that if you have extra cash and you're putting it in property, just keep it there.
Keep
it there for as long as you can. If you don't need the money, do not sell.
Okay.
Because basically, if you look at history, it just goes up.
Appreciates.
It just appreciates.
Whether land or condominium type, no?
Well, condo naman, eventually, it ages. So it increases in value and eventually it slows down. That's why condo naman, you earn from rental income.
Sure.
So unlike land that you keep for, let's say, 10, 20 years, you don't earn anything. But from condo, you keep it for 20 years, you probably
earning while you're keeping
have a return
on
your investment already.
All right, so those are factors, no?
Yes.
And you're saying that these factors will remain the same regardless of whether or not it's a boom in the real estate market or it's a bust. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, usually when there's a boom, renting your unit will be maybe easier. When there's a slowdown in the economy, naturally it's going to be harder. So you might need to lower down your rent a bit or be more flexible with your tenant. So it's the same as regular business.
Right.
When there's a big market, you can price it higher.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you say in general, as an investment, people should really be looking at real estate for a long term? Not so much short term, no?
Yes, definitely.
And that window would be, long term would be 5 years, 10 years? What is long term?
My personal opinion, just accumulate property.
Okay.
While you're young,
right.
you still have that source of income. Then when you're older,
then you can liquidate.
If when you're older, you don't need the cash, you pass it on to your
That's
next
an option
generation.
as well. Okay,
yeah.
Good advice. Let's talk about figuring out, can I afford it? You know, because there's so many options now. There's so many different payment plans. Any rules of thumb that you can give to determine, you know, can I afford this? What's the best way to find out?
Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, you follow your gut feel.
Okay.
Is it comfortable for you to spend this money already?
Okay.
Have you covered your basic needs? Is your kid secure already? The basic
Education-wise,
education-wise,
okay.
do you have like a emergency fund set aside already? If all of those are answered, now you can go into long-term property
Makes sense.
investment.
Okay.
Yes.
As a rule of thumb,
Let's say if you have excess liquidity, maybe 50% of that is a comfortable amount that you can put into property.
50% of the excess, right?
Yes.
What would you do with the balance? Other investment options?
Oh yeah, maybe something more liquid, yeah, just in the bank,
Okay,
mutual
so you're not
funds.
locked in. That makes sense. Okay, so about 50% is what you're saying
Yes.
about the cash. Okay, excellent. Now this would be 50% in monthly amortizations, 50% in the total amount of the property. When you say 50%?
50% is, let's say, for the total property. But if you're buying on installment, so you base it on your monthly income, no?
Sure.
So I guess a rule of thumb is once you covered your basic expenses,
And you have the buffer fund,
and you have the
etc.
buffer extra, 50% also. You can put that into long-term property.
Okay.
Yes.
Just monthly, just keep putting that in
Yes,
for amortizations. Okay. So we did talk a little bit about condo already. We talked about land. Now let's talk about the different structure types. Condo, townhouse, house and lot. What are your thoughts on those options I mean, in terms of investment in this market now?
Okay. First of all, we have to understand what the product is for.
Right.
House and lot are products that are created a bit off the central business district. So like suburbs, so you drive out, but you can enjoy big spaces with the kids.
Property values are cheaper, so you can
Yes.
get more space, right?
There's more space, but there's this drive. Condos naman are invented to be inside the central business district. So you have that luxury of time, luxury of being close to your work. No? Townhouses is a product in between. You want to have a house, but it's too expensive or too big. That's why you chop up the land to have 6 houses, 10 houses in one land, in a residential zone naman. So
which won't be as far out as a house and lot in the suburbs, but
Well,
not
it's-
too close or...
townhouse are usually alongside house and lot
Okay.
areas.
Okay, so of the three, which one would you think is the best investment type?
Okay. Personally, for starters, I'll go for condominiums because you just let your money work for you. Parang you don't have to worry about building maintenance, construction.
How so? Through rental income.
Yes, number one, to build the house, to build that property, you have the developer to build it for you. Then they will package it, put in a theme, and then when you're going to rent it out, parang you just have to make sure that the tenant is inside. Then there's property manager also to help you with the building.
Okay.
So condominium will be a good first step.
Right, would be a good first step. Even in this market, do you see that, for example, in this market where there's so many condos popping up, that people might be thinking, hey, you know what, if I get one now, I can get a tenant immediately. Or is the reality, you know what, it's going to take you more time? I mean, because there's so many options. Yeah.
Right, that's true. No, there's a lot of options. No, but you have to, when you buy a condo, you first identify who is my target rental market. So let's say if it's Makati, and you have data that says that the Makati daytime population is 4 times its nighttime population. So you have that market who's going home. So that's your immediate market for your condo rentals. So I feel that if it's a Makati, there's still a strong demand for condos.
For rental of condos.
Yes. How about condos near schools, like colleges? So there's also a demand for that.
Like
because
the Katipunan area, for example.
Katipunan, the Taft area. Because if you're a parent who has a kid going through 4 years of college, you might not buy a condo. It's a sure thing that you will rent. So there's a ready market for that.
I see. What about, talk to me about, of those three or any other type of real estate, what is the disadvantage? Is that even exist in terms of investing in real estate in this particular time?
I guess real estate, just like any other investment product, has the advantages and also disadvantages.
Sure.
Number one disadvantage of real estate, it's not as liquid as having your money in the bank or in a time deposit.
Okay,
So it's a long-term product. So if you need to sell, sometimes it will take you a while to sell it, but sometimes you get lucky, it's going to be fast. So another disadvantage is you have to consider there's payment of dues, you have payment of association dues. The dues that you pay is used to maintain your building, pay for the security guards, for maintenance of swimming pool, and you have also real property taxes that you pay to make sure that the city lights are on, the policemen are paid. So yeah.
Okay, so we'll ask more of those questions with the viewers in a bit. But right now we just have to take a short break. Keep it here on The Money. We'll be right back. Welcome back to On The Money. Let's check what Salve Duplito has for us in Salve Says.
We're walking to HMR in Balintawak, Quezon City, where you can turn your assets into cash. Hi, how are you?
Hi Sal, welcome to HMR Auctions.
Thank you for having us. So what do you have for us?
Well, just to start, this is where our registration happens in this office.
So people come here to get their...
Yes, auctioneers come in and get their bid number and their plan to see what's in the showroom. And as well, consigners can come in here and check the status of their products that they put in. Exactly, yeah.
And then the ones we're going to buy, this is where they pay their deposit?
Yes, this is where it all starts.
How much is the deposit normally?
That varies depending on the size of the auction. For instance, what you'll see here today, it's just a bunch of consumer items. So the deposit here will be around 5,000, but it can be as high as 350,000 depending on heavy equipment that we might be getting. Yeah.
So these are very interesting items. People can actually sell anything.
Just about. You'll find a whole variety of products that come from our consigners and people who have large lots to sell, and they really want to make cash really quickly. Items such as you can see, we've got a lot of electronics, from vacuum cleaners, toasters, rice cookers, flat screen TVs, you know, to bathroom items such as bathtubs, shower sets, giant industrial lights, tables, furniture where office function. You can go on, it's a tongue twister trying to say everything. You'll see a whole variety of quality, and we make sure that our bidders know exactly what they're buying.
Do both consigners and bidders come away happy?
Of course. Generally, when we receive items, we give our consigners an idea. We evaluate their product and give them an idea of what to expect in the auctions. But you know, as the auction goes, the price is determined by the bidders. So that's the price that they'll expect to get.
This personal ref has been sitting in my room for more than a year now, just giving me cold water. Well, off to the auction house you go.
Our materials control and evaluators will give you an understanding of what the value is, what the value might be, and you know, we can kind of talk about a set price that you want to start at, but really you have to understand that when it's out there, the bidders have control. You know, the auctioneer will do his best to try to get people going, get them riled up and excited for the product, but it's really down to the bidders when it comes down to the product. And at least then you'll know the true value of that product, because that's what it is. That's how you know immediately what something is worth. So after the evaluation is made, we put it out onto the lot. It gets a lot number. It's listed on our marketing supplies. Everyone has an understanding of what that product is. And when the auctioneer gets to that lot, your lot, the number is said, a little description is given, and then we have the starting bid.
Okay, and then after the auction, what happens next?
After the auction, the final price is set. The auctioneer has dropped the hammer, and the price is set by the last bidder with the best price. So at the end, the bidder then pays for the item, through the deposit and additional that's there. And basically they have to come here and pick it up. So at the end of the day, we give you a full detailed report on how your product did in the showroom. So where our starting bid was and what it was finally sold for.
Somebody once told me that if you believe money can't buy happiness, you don't know where to shop. Well, for money to make me happy, I have to get more out of it. And here, I am happy. For the whole month of January, we've talked about saving, scrimping, and freeing up cash. This way, those who are still trying to recover from their holiday overspending can pay their loans faster. Today, I showed you how to make money out of nothing. Coming here is a bit time-consuming and there's no air conditioning. But if I get at least 2,500 from my personal ref, it's worth the effort.
Still with us is Carl D., a real estate professional who works for one of the biggest companies in the country. And of course, Melissa Hekulea with your money questions. Hi, Mel.
Hi, Edric. Hello, Carl. I love this topic.
It's good, right?
Yes.
It's very insightful.
It is.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first question comes from Mendoza via email, who says, I bought a condo 2 years ago. Early this year, I paid the full price of the condo through a loan in the bank. However, I'm not satisfied with the unit as there is a water leak on the wall, and the developer staff are no longer client-oriented. Can I still get out of the contract? What should I do?
I think it's going to be hard to get out of the contract since you've already paid for the property.
And you've
it's already-
signed.
And you've signed, it's already yours. There's a government agency called HLURB who regulates developers. No? So you can go to HLURB and ask for help. But my advice to our viewer is try to just work your way with your administration and just convince them to fix your leak in the wall. Yeah, sometimes it happens, but it's fixable naman.
Okay. Are they legally obligated to fix that leak?
I think as a developer, you're legally obligated to deliver a good product and make sure that it's covered by warranties and it does not inconvenience your buyer.
Right.
Yeah, so in our company, we make sure that if there are complaints, they are fixed.
Yes, yes. Yes, because I just wonder if there are things, let's say, you know, you're going to buy this place. I'm guessing she bought pre-selling, right?
Yes.
Okay, and there are problems with it that might not be visible on the surface. Does this person have any recourse?
Oh, definitely. Usually a developer will have like a 1-year warranty period that you can just tell them what's wrong, because sometimes it's also unforeseen problems.
Massive projects, right?
Of course,
Right.
yes.
Sometimes the leaks on the wall, it happened during construction period and the weather did not cooperate or the drying of the cement. Like that. So yeah, just bring it up with your developer.
Right.
Okay.
But if the developer is not cooperating, so
Right.
I guess you have to exert more effort to...
Oh my gosh, yes, because legally
Yeah.
they should be liable.
They should be able to do something. What if it's your neighbor who caused it? For example, water leak of the neighbor above, which happened in a circumstance that I was part of, right? Water leak because the neighbor built something and then it caused a crack and caused the leak. Then I assume building admin can intervene and say, neighbor's liable. Is that maybe Mirza's case could be that. It's a leak caused by the neighbor.
Well, what you can do is maybe sit down and talk to your neighbor
Right.
and say, hey, this is the cause of
Right.
what happened.
Right.
Probably an accident, and just parang talk it over and what you can do. Yeah.
How did you sort yours out?
They covered for it.
Good.
Yeah,
I
think
would
that
think
because the
that-
building administration basically said that since it was their damage
Yes.
and it affected our unit and another one, then they cover. And it happened with us as well, inadvertently.
Right,
a leak
right.
from our toilet went down to, so I think generally the practice is good neighbors would,
Right,
would
of
really want to
course,
do that,
of
right?
course.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay.
So Mirza, if it's your neighbor, maybe, right?
Yes, that's right.
Right.
Okay, the next question comes from Noel via Facebook, who says, after being an OFW for so many years, I now have my own condo.
Wow.
It is bare right now, and I'd like to furnish it and design it soon. Problem is, I don't have the time to do so as I fly out of the country every month. Is it advisable and practical to hire an interior designer, or is it better to furnish my condo slowly? How much does an interior decorator normally charge?
I would advise you to get an interior designer so you can make your unit usable as fast as you can. So if you're flying in and out of the country, you can find an interior designer who can communicate with you through
Yes.
email. So at
Technology.
least while you're away, your unit is being fixed. So how much? It depends on the level of service and the size of your unit, no? But the rule of thumb will be 1,000 pesos per square meter to a high of 2,000, depending on the the intricacies of your requirements.
Right.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, actually, I have another question for
Okay.
you. What are some tips you can offer to people who are buying condos, looking to buy condos, whether for investment or to live in? Because I know some people who've had a few bad experiences,
Yes.
similar to Mirza, who bought a place, there are
damaged
leaks.
somewhere, yeah.
In fact, sometimes
Yeah.
it's not the layout they expected it to be.
I guess when you're buying a condo from a developer, it's like choosing a business partner. You also study your partner, what are their values. So you look at the developer, what is their track record, how do they deliver their product. So that's number one. No?
Okay.
Yes, and number two, I would advise also for our buyers to really do their homework, because it's still at the end of the day something that you're going to put your money in. It's very important you're
Yeah.
knowledgeable.
That's good advice.
Do some buildings have longer lifespans than others?
I think it is dependent on how it was maintained.
What is the design also?
Yeah, it's the design of the building, how it was maintained. So if you have a good maintenance plan for your building, then your building will have a longer lifespan.
Sure.
Okay, so
Yes.
look at the management company,
Yes.
I
Yes.
suppose.
Yeah.
Now, Ronald says, I've been working for less than a decade. I have stocks and a full investment for 6 years now. I also plan to open a Pag-ibig fund time deposit, and I'd like to invest in real estate. I'm torn between purchasing a 2 to 3 bedroom condo unit, which I plan to lease, and buying a piece of land to build an apartment. Which is better? Also, what is the best mode of financing for either property investment, especially if I plan to pay in 10 years? Long question.
Long question.
Yeah.
So you identify what market you want to rent your condo to. Is it mostly 2-bedroom market or families who needs 3-bedroom? Also, you look into what budget you are ready with. So it's also dependent on your budget. So, but as a rule of thumb, if you can go, if you can afford it, get something higher, because I feel that eventually you'll be happy that you get something that's bigger.
Yes.
Yes.
It's money well spent.
Yes.
Okay.
This
And
versus the
then-
land.
Yeah, buying a piece of land and building an apartment on it.
Okay. I feel that the apartment model is now being changed to condominiums.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. Parang usually people who rent, they rent near their place of work.
Yes.
So, and apartments are usually far from central business districts. So I feel that the apartment model is not as good now versus condominiums.
Okay.
Because the cost of the land and building the structure might not be enough to cover for the rental amount that's in that area.
Right. And you think that might actually be more trouble than it's worth, aside from more investment necessary than you would say need for buying a
And just
condo?
renting out.
I guess, no?
Yeah.
Kasi if you have your apartment, you have to maintain the property. Unlike when you have a condominium, you have just rely on the property management to do it for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
He also asked about the financing of property. What are your thoughts on that?
Financing of property. Yeah. The rates right now are low.
Yes.
He said 10 years. He gave a figure 10 years.
Yeah.
What is a...
So if you're planning to, let's say, buy a condominium, pay for it for 10 years, comfortably pay for it, it's okay. So just leverage what's in the market from the
Okay.
banks.
Yeah, low interest rates right now,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. So would you advise loan through the developer? You know how they give you in-house financing, or loan through a bank? I mean, what is your thoughts on that
But
right now?
actually,
Yeah.
what they say is you can do two things. You can loan from the developer, so you can do their payment plan,
Right.
and then once that period is over, you could then
Go to
take
the
out
bank.
a loan from the bank,
Okay.
right?
There are payment schemes right now wherein you pay the first 20-30% in-house, sometimes no interest. Then there's a balloon where you can
Now pull out a loan from the
Yes.
bank.
pull
to
out
do
a loan
that.
from the
I
bank
see.
and stretch it for 10 to 15
I
years.
see.
Yes.
So that's the 10 to 15 year window. It's
Yeah.
when you go to the bank.
And that's why it makes it lighter. That's why
That's
a
what he
lot
was
of the
saying,
pre-selling
yes.
payments are lighter than the existing
Right. Because
units
you
that
can even
you're-
have zero interest.
Yes.
It's good to
Yeah,
know.
Exactly.
Great to know.
A lot of times they're smaller units, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. Send us your money questions via email or through Facebook and Twitter, and we'll try to answer them in our upcoming episodes or on our next Q&A Friday.
Yeah, so is the market overheating? Well, possibly 3 to 4 years, but what you said, the principle is, think long term when it comes to real estate. Great advice, great discussions. That's our show today. I'm Edric Mendoza. Join us again tomorrow for more talk and tips so you're always right on the money.